Good morning, guys. I guess you guys are in North America.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a part of the Magus team. I work with these guys. I worked with Nolan on another project. Um, and I am the brand ambassador, and I control the Twitter and do some moderation on the Discord as well.
Awesome. Anybody else want to introduce themselves too? Or
Yeah, Nolan. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Magus. As Chad said, I also work with him on another project. And I've been, as a little fun fact here, I've been working in digital marketing for just over 4 years now.
awesome. And Derek, I don't think I got your introduction before I started the recording, so if you want to do that one more time, that'd be great.
Popped in and
Yeah.
started talking real quick.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
worries though.
absolutely. Not a problem, guys. So I am Derek, and I am the CMO of Magus Nodes, the marketing officer. So I deal with all the marketing. I'm also heavily involved in the community side, and I make up one of the three core team members of Magus Nodes. So, guys, just quickly, can we touch on what is this community all about?
Yeah, for sure. So myself and Cole, he's not here right now in the AMA, but we run a project together. It's called Chain of State DAO, and throughout the process of getting that project up and running, there are a lot of people out there that charge a lot of money to kind of get your project advertised out there, and it simply kills a lot of innovation because some projects just can't afford the absurd amount of marketing dollars that it takes to really become a popular project nowadays. And
Oh,
our mission here is to help bring those innovative projects that would otherwise maybe not be able to purchase an AMA. Like I know there's an AMA group called Golem's Gems that has a massive audience behind them, but they charge $7,000 just for an hour-long AMA. And if you're doing like multiple of those a week, I mean, it's a lot of money. And if we can do that, lower the cost and actually get behind these projects that are super cool and will actually benefit the world and help them do that and not charge way more than we need to, then that's something that we are passionate about and we're happy to help projects grow.
I think that is absolutely respectable and I love it. So I'm actually also co-founder of totalengagement.co.uk, which is a TikTok marketing agency focused solely on crypto because when I wanted to do marketing for other projects and I was contacting TikTokers who were like, yeah, I want 3,000, I want 5,000, I want 6,000. I was
Yeah.
like, I understand crypto is crazy with money, but in real life, if you ask me that, I mean, honestly, we would have a fight. It's crazy.
Yeah.
um, it's absolutely beyond a joke. So I now have a core team of around 22 TikTokers, and we charge like 65 bucks each. So I completely, yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, if you want to DM me that after, we would definitely be interested in checking you guys out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, well, now that all introductions are done, if you guys want to get into introducing the project, Magus Nodes itself, that'd be awesome.
Brilliant. I'll start things off then. So, what exactly are we? What is Magus Nodes? So, we are a DeFi as a service protocol, and we're going to be launching on the Cronos network. And what we'll be offering is a way for people to make passive rewards that are sustainable for the long term. Our team, we have quite a solid team. We've all come from different backgrounds. We've all been in the crypto space specifically for years, which is very helpful because we all have our own experiences that are kind of helping create something that can last a long time. Um, so yeah, that is overly what Magus Nodes is. What it is more to a technical degree is, if you're not familiar with DeFi as a service, it is kind of it's staking. In basic terms, it's stake to earn. So you will mint your node. You will use your tokens to create a node, and from there, you then quote unquote stake your node for APR, which is annual percentage rate, which is going to be 1%. The reason we're going for 1% is we see a lot of projects in our space start off with like 1 million APR or something crazy like that, and at the end of it all, it's not sustainable. At the beginning, it's all great because people are getting these crazy returns, but then as soon as they start selling, we just see a rapid decline. We've seen it in projects all over recently, and it's kind of destroyed the ohm forks specifically. So how we are counteracting this is both the lower APR at launch, and because it's a node, we kind of recycle the tokens, because when you purchase your node, 80% of your tokens are then recycled into the rewards pool, which promotes sustainability.
All right. And that 1% is a daily APR, right? Just to be clear.
Yeah, every day.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of node projects coming out. It's kind of, there was the Olympus season, or the Olympus fork season, then the Tomb fork season. Now it's kind of the node season. So there's so many of these node projects popping up, and a lot of them are really cool, and then a lot of them are not that innovative and they fail. So what are you guys doing in particular to make sure that you are kind of on that cutting edge of innovation and that you are different than all the other node projects that have not been successful thus far?
Brilliant question.
Nolan, do you mind if I step in and answer a little bit of it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I will say one thing. So me, Nolan, and the rest of the team has worked on multiple avenues, and we are experienced. Now, I understand that I'm a young guy, but I'm also co-founder of a launchpad, and we do have a very experienced team. I honestly look at a lot of these node projects I won't name any names, but I was sitting in that AMA, and these guys just clearly had no clue about. Okay, they understood crypto, they understood exchanges, but when it came to like altcoins and pre-sales, they had literally no idea. It's due to inexperience, and also we do have a peer-to-peer platform, which is absolutely amazing. I will touch on that, but I really do think a lot of these node projects right now are just in it for the hype. And guys, be careful out there, because we've already seen copycats literally word for word copying our announcements and putting it out. And it's crazy. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Their Discord is larger than ours, but it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. But you need to be safe out there, and I do think if you have an experienced team, it helps. I've been through multiple launches. I've helped projects with multiple launches, so that, how would you say, the training wheels are off. Like, we are experienced. I live, breathe, and eat crypto. It's literally all I do. And we're lucky enough to have 2 full-time team members focusing on Magus Nodes, whereas a lot of these other projects, you've got 3 guys all working 9 to 5 with huge families, and they just don't have the dedication or time to put into the project. So I do think that helps. But Nolan, if you want to talk more on the peer-to-peer, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, brilliant. So the peer-to-peer marketplace will be a place for people to buy, sell, and trade their nodes directly with other users. One really innovative thing about this is a lot of other node projects don't give you the option to be able to trade or sell your node. You're stuck with it no matter what, and that isn't really something that should be considered norm in a space where decentralization is really promoted. So introducing this is something we think will be kind of a step in the right direction for future node projects to kind of follow, and even existing ones. So yeah, the brilliant thing about it will be, as people are trading on our platform, is we get a tiny percentage which goes towards the Treasury, which will help with the growth of that. And we also won't have any of our LP being disrupted because of this, as it's peer-to-peer, as I've said, which again, yeah, it just, it won't cause the token to have any issues, and we're getting that slice of the pie, so to speak. And another thing, what's brilliant about this is we will try to keep it open source, or we will allow other projects to use our platform, which will then be promoting Magus as a brand, as well as giving us more fees,
Yeah,
which
I
really adds
Just
to sustainability. Sorry.
just to add to the peer-to-peer network. So since we're buying and selling these nodes, or we're allowing users to buy and sell the nodes over the counter, um, sometimes in rare cases, if it's needed, the protocol actually will do buybacks and will be purchasing nodes at a discount, and then sell them in our peer-to-peer network marketplace, and then the profits are then moved back into the community treasury. So.
Yeah, I do really like the peer-to-peer model for a couple of reasons. The first is that the typical traditional node models, you can't sell your node once you get them, and if somebody wants to buy a node, they have to mint a new one, and that's just more tokens getting diluted. Versus if they were to buy from somebody else, then that's less tokens being created or taken from that kind of rewards pool that otherwise would just be, more nodes sucking up more rewards or minting new tokens, whatever your model may be. So there's less dilution over time on top of the revenue that it is created from the marketplace itself, from the peer-to-peer transactions. So I do love the model. And just as a side note, where did you guys get the name Magus Nodes from?
So Magus refers to a sorcerer. So we're kind of going for the magical theme because what we're doing is magical. So, yeah, so pun was intended there, but yeah, I mean, essentially that's it. We're being innovative. It's something that people don't really see often, and we want to stand out as well as have that almost professional look to ourselves. So that's where the name comes from.
Awesome. I know I've been hogging the questions, so Chris, you want to ask anything?
Yeah. So I did have one thing that I kind of wanted to see where you guys were at with. So what kind of initiated this whole idea on the 1% daily APR? Was there something specific in mind? Was it just the example of other projects kind of failing, or what was your mission statement to this is what we're trying to bring to the community?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of just research on our end before we even went public with the project. It was looking into how other node projects had performed in the past, and it's a lot of the issues stem from this high APR that is impossible to sustain. So we wanted to have an APR which is still attractive to the general investor whilst making it sustainable in a case of our treasury will be growing faster than our the inflation rate. So yeah, it mainly stems from just previous research into other projects and having it at a nice number that is still attractive to the general investor.
Gotcha. And then what was your, like, if you guys had to name something, I'm not sure if you do have a specific one, but what would be that mission statement on, what you're out here trying to do? I'm just a little curious, like, what the actual motivation behind all of this is. Because it's an amazing project. Like, from what you guys are describing, I think you guys have a lot of success coming your way just because the innovation and the kind of different approach you're taking. We'll have to see how everything turns out, but what kind of is the goal behind this whole project?
So I guess if we had to just sum it up in a short phrase, it would be sustainability and stability. We want to give people an attractive APR that we can sustain for a very long time. And that will be keeping to our runway. And if we have to ever drop the APR, it won't be for years in the future.
Mhm.
And then that way, the early investors are rewarded with something that will hopefully make them a lot of money and something that will make them really interested in our brand because overall as well, besides the node aspect, in years to come, we want to introduce a venture capital. We may want to drop, I can't really mention anything else, but to expand Magus, to a point where it's not just the nodes, but it's seen as a leader in the DeFi space.
Okay, I like it.
So, Nolan, just there, you talked about a runway. For anyone that doesn't know what a runway is, could you please explain?
Yeah, so it's quite technical, like the back end side of it, but the front end is basically just it will keep track of our treasury and keep track of our current price. And say we wanted to keep our runway to 100 to 200 days, it would mean if we had to, the treasury could sustain the current price for 200 days. So depending on how we set it up, say it dropped down to 190 days, we would then have no choice but to either do some form of buyback or decrease the APR to a point where it would be back at that 200 days. So it's kind of a way for the community to have transparency and for us to just keep track of how sustainable the project actually is.
Yeah, that's great explanation of a runway. So I like the overall picture, the innovation that you guys are providing, but a lot of investors also on top of the innovation look into a lot of things more for the security standpoint, like things such as liquidity locking, KYCs, audits, docs team. Like, could you guys speak on a little bit more on that, the security side of things?
Can do. So before we even launch, we'll be looking at getting privately KYC'd. Derek on our core team is also publicly doxed, so that's already bonus points. But yeah, we'll be getting private KYC before we launch. Besides that, we have multiple contracts that we will need to get audited. The audit, as well as just showing the community that we're going about this the right way, will also be for our own benefit, because the last thing we want to do is launch something that may have some errors or vulnerabilities. So that's two things we'll be doing to protect it. And we'll be bringing on more developers, strategists onto the team who will be, doing bug bounties, stress testing our whole ecosystem to just keep investors' minds at ease as well as our own.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Audits are very important because if you mess up a smart contract, you can't just change it, right?
No, no. I wish you could, but
Yeah.
unfortunately not.
A
Yeah.
quick edit button.
Yep.
So is there, I do have one more thing. Is there a question or a utility case that you guys are striving to hit, like at release, or is there anything in mind for the future as far as the utility behind, whether it be behind nodes, just behind holding, outside of staking?
Yeah, so this is still quite closely tied to the staking, but we'll be looking at also bringing, and I'll go from mid to long term. So one of the first things we'll be looking to introduce would be NFT adoption in the form of APR boosting. So as long as it is sustainable, we'll bring in some form of NFTs, and it will be rewarding those who have been creating nodes and have been staking for a long time. They will be getting an airdrop or some kind of whitelist to this collection that will help them, have a higher APR, as well as supporting the treasury. And further down the line, we'll be looking to become a VC as well as a venture capital. Excuse me 1 second. And the basic thing from that would be to invest in startups, both in the crypto space and as well as in just the economy. I guess you could say tech startups, that kind of thing, to get our name out there, and as well as find other avenues for the treasury to grow. And besides that, we do have a few things that would be looking at outside of a node perspective. The peer-to-peer, we want to expand that from nodes to also working for tokens, because we think having kind of a peer-to-peer that accommodates most things crypto would be quite revolutionary. Because it will be a place, there may already be places that do these, but not all in one spot. Maybe NFTs, tokens, nodes, and it's in an audited place. And that's something that hasn't really been done before, with all of them in one spot. That could be quite beneficial for our ecosystem. Outside of that, we do have a few things, but we don't want to discuss them yet, just due to the competitive nature. But
Yeah.
it would be mentioned, not late on during the project. It'll be quite early on, so people know that we are thinking about the longevity of the project.
Gotcha. I really, really like that idea of the peer-to-peer marketplace, just between other projects, because you do have that. You right now you have the peer-to-peer that's going to be starting whenever you guys are launched. But I really like the idea of us spreading it to other projects, just because that simplicity is huge as far as even developing new projects. New projects have trouble, I think, a lot of times developing because you're not on a centralized exchange. It's just a little bit too, there's a bar to entry that you need to have that knowledge of how to get on PancakeSwap, how to get on whatever decks you are trading on, to set up a node, all that kind of stuff. So that peer-to-peer marketplace, I think, is going to do really well.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
And then when are you guys launching, by the way?
So our official launch date, we haven't announced it yet. It'll be announced tomorrow, but we'll give you guys a bit of a sneak peek here. We're looking to launch on the May the 4th.
All right.
Yeah, may the force be with you. Yeah, yeah, it just seems to be out of the dates we've considered, just seems to be the best one. Not just because of the Star Wars date, but just everything runs smoothly for that date.
Awesome. It's great to hear. And then, is there a whitelist on launch?
Yes, so we do have a whitelist. This has been used to get the initial LP, Treasury in development. So yeah, we've had 3 rounds of that. The launch pad for that will be going live Friday for rounds 1 and 2. We're still running some competitions on SweetWidget and our Twitter. Any platform that we're on, we have something running just to bring brand awareness and give some people some nice spots. For which hopefully will be one of the best launches on the Cronos network for this year.
Yes,
Awesome.
sir. Hopefully. Now, if I may, sorry, I think a common misconception is, so we've done round 1, round 2, and round 3, or well, sorry, we're doing round 3 of the whitelists. Now, the benefits are all the exact same. We haven't had a seed sale, a pre-seed, a fundraiser, a strategic sale, and 10 other made-up sales. There is one sale and one sale only for Magus Nodes, and that is the pre-sale whitelist. So anyone that is in the whitelist gets the best guaranteed price, and you have $1,000 max allocation, and anyone that spends over $500 also receives 1 free node. And it's worth mentioning that the whitelisted people will be receiving 50% nodes and 50% tokens. So that also hugely helps combat any initial sell pressure.
Yeah, for sure. And then to create a node, how many tokens is it? And then what's the pre-sale price going to be?
Chad, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, definitely. So the cost of a node at launch price is $1 per node, 1 USDC per node, and it takes about
Right.
100. It takes 100
Yeah.
tokens to make a node.
Yeah, so, sorry, Chad, just to correct you. So it's $1 per token, and 100 tokens makes a node.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yeah. Sorry if I butchered that. Yeah. So it's $100 is one node basically at launch price.
All right. I think that's a pretty standard and fair price for nodes based off of other projects. So that's great to hear.
So I know you touched up on this a little bit, Derek, but back to more of the marketing side of things. So outside of, you said that you have your TikTokers that are posting. Outside of that, what are you guys trying to do? And I know you also talked about the giveaways, but I guess outside of those two things, what are those big focuses that you guys are?
Absolutely, I love talking marketing, so I'm just going to
Mhm.
jump right in here.
Yeah.
We are planning. So a lot of these projects, they do giveaways and they do pin posts and AMAs in these other node-specific groups. So what I've done, I've went ahead and contacted every single one I know, and I said, listen, guys, although we want to be here for our AMA, we want to do the pin post, we want to do the giveaway, we want long-term partnerships. We want to be working with you and your community for years to come. I don't want to just have a 5 minutes of fame and then Magus Nodes to be kicked out and forgot about. So where a lot of these projects are just going in and getting a little bundle of members brought over to their Discord. We are looking to be continuously working with these node specific groups, such as Node Nation, Node Kingdom, blah, 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 just to name a few. But I'm also very happy to announce that we do have an official partner, Slink. Now, do you guys know what a Slink link is?
I haven't
I'm
heard
not
of them.
familiar.
Okay, so it's like an all-in-one link. So you could have your Facebook, your Twitter, your website, whatever links you want, all in this one link, and it's just so nice and neat and beautiful. So he is actually becoming an official partner of Magus Nodes. He has 30,000 daily active users. Now, granted, they're not all into crypto, but we will be running a marketing campaign with him, either during launch or just after launch. And I think it will be really successful, to be fair. Now, Slink is also someone that I know in real life, so there's always that added benefit whenever you're working with someone. If you actually have a personal connection, the job just gets done that little bit much better, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we're always on the lookout for Crow groups or Cronos groups that we've made many connections over at Telegram. There's a load of Crow communities, and you can expect to see Magus everywhere. Not only on TikTok, not only on YouTube. Oh, and I will say this, go to any other Node projects and look at their members' content or their YouTube videos, anything like that. Then come over to Magus and look at our content. And I would like to remind you that none of it is paid for. It's Magus Nodes is just catching people's attention, and I'm loving it.
That's great to hear. That is great to hear.
And if you don't mind me just adding on here, besides the general methods we see, we will also be running ad campaigns, on Facebook, on Google. Combined, the team has quite a bit of experience on these things, on these platforms. So we're also trying to grab the attention of people on these social platforms, because a lot more fundamental investors are also on that side, who we wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. So it's almost reaching into another audience in a sense. And the good things with these kind of ads is they're long lasting. You can keep them running for a long time, and you just have to freshen it up. Stick with the algorithm and all that good thing, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just another thing that we'll also be doing.
Yeah, I just had a couple other questions. So the first one is, why did you pick the Cronos network? I know a lot of projects are launching on it now. It's starting to gain a lot of traction, but just in your guys' words, what benefits do you see on Cronos versus other networks?
Well, we picked Cronos chain because it's an EVM, so it's very simple to bridge across with a MetaMask wallet or a hardware wallet like Ledger or Trezor. And it's easy investors to move to. It's backed by a huge company, Crypto.com, obviously, and has an up and coming audience. So we also think that it has a lot of potential, and I think we're just below. If Kronos got to where BSC was at its highest point, it would be 10 times 10. So we see the potential of it. It's not a top 10 coin yet. It's top 20. However, we do think that it has a big potential, and that's why we want to be at the forefront of an up and coming ecosystem where we can thrive.
Yeah, well said.
Good forward thinking. So, Zach, can I interrupt just for 1 second?
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything or what is kind of in the works as far as ease of access for new people? Because I think that's one of the biggest things. I know we've talked about it before, but getting new people into crypto is tough, especially in the DeFi atmosphere. So what kind of things are you guys doing to make the transition into, from either a centralized exchange or from, not working with nodes where you might just be a little nervous, that kind of thing, like maybe YouTube videos or that like tutorials that explaining how everything works. What are you guys doing as far as with launch and all that stuff to encourage new investors?
So education is definitely something that's very important in the cryptocurrency and DeFi space. So it's a very good question there. One thing we will definitely be looking into will be making tutorials, guides, just for the general crypto investor to start off with, just learning how to bridge to Crow, how to add it to your MetaMask, all those good things. Because as Chad previously went into, it's still very under what's the word I'm thinking of here? There's still a lot of growth yet to hit Crow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still a lot of investors who would find it very easy to migrate to Crow, uh, who would be very interested in our project. I would definitely say it's only hit in the next 12 months like 10 to 20% of its audience size. So there will be, and we are seeing a lot of people jumping over to Crow because it's new. It's the mainnet only came out about 6 months ago, 6 7 months ago. So we are still seeing a lot of people jumping over. So yeah, first off, that will be our main target, bringing those people to Magus, those who already have experience, and then as we grow, we touched on the ads, educational ads that target just the general person, where we're allowed to advertise crypto. That will be one thing we do, and yeah, maybe long term we'll potentially look at an educational platform. We'll probably keep that specific to the Magus ecosystem and a bit about Crodo just due to the competitive nature of the space. We can't really go against CoinMarketCap or Binance.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. That's good. That's good. Just slowly encouraging new people, new investors into the project, I think is always a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. I just had one more question left. It's kind of bouncing around a little bit, but the last question is, what investments are you looking to get into as far as the treasury goes to kind of generate that sustainable yield for all of the node holders?
Brilliant one. So in the short term, in the mid to long term, I'll start off with that first. We would be looking to bring on a strategy team who have decades of experience in this thing to kind of take over the reins from our core team to choose the best investments for the community for the long term to keep it up. Now, to jump back to the short term, we want to provide stability and sustainability. The best way to do this will be primarily from stablecoins. So we'll be looking at yield farming stablecoins for 10 to 20% APR. It may not be too attractive, but it's something we can kind of rely on. And the other half would be looking at supporting the Crow ecosystem. That's where we started off, and that's where our main audience would be. So we kind of want to attract people to us by showing our support for the ecosystem. Some ways we can do this is again yield farming, Crow for more interesting APR of 50 to 100%. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking at yield farming for the short term with stable coins in the Crow ecosystem, and then as we bring on a strat team, they can kind of take over from there and bring who knows, maybe better ways or more sustainable ways.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. I think less risk versus trying to get the most amount of money you possibly can with a little more risk, I think is a better opportunity, because if you're managing a community treasury, you don't really want to be responsible for losing that money. That wouldn't be
Exactly.
good. That would not be good.
Yeah, yeah, and we've done a lot of research into this, and we do see, primarily with DAOs is they vote on what's hot at the moment. So there's some projects that may have invested a lot into Wonderland, and then a month later it's down 95%. A third
Yep.
of the treasury's gone, and you have nothing to show for it. Well, otherwise, we'll be looking at getting 10 to 20% guaranteed back. Which makes it just a lot less stressful and a lot easier for us. And I mean, sure, maybe 1 to 2% of the treasury may do some degen plays or something that might pay off, but yeah, primarily low APR, low risk.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, Chris, I don't know if you have any other questions, but that was all I had.
No, that's all I got. Is there anything else you three wanted to touch up on?
I just
Honestly,
wanted to. Okay,
go ahead, Chad.
I'll let
Go
you
ahead.
go. Okay, I know. I just
No,
wanted to add to in the beginning what you guys are doing actually with making it more affordable for projects market to market themselves because I've been through a number of projects myself and I know what it's like to have to struggle and have to pay influencers and all this kind of stuff and it just doesn't work. It's very
Mm-hmm.
expensive and it's not a good system and there's a lot of scammers out there, a lot of people trying to rip you off and a lot of people that don't know how this stuff works. So I also wanted to touch base on that and tell you guys kudos.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you. Derek, did you have something as well?
no, I was just going to say, I think that's a wrap, and thank you for having us on. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
Yeah,
it's
it's been
been
awesome.
awesome. Thank you. Kind of something real quick that I wanted to add to each other. I just didn't want to get in front of what Derek wanted to say. We're really big on trying. We're essentially trying to mesh our communities with all these communities of other projects and that kind of thing. And that's we're starting off now, so we're hitting that starting to get into a little bit of growth, but it's been a little bit slow, so we're just kind of trying to get our name out there, get as many projects as we can on here, and kind of bring their communities into ours, and then share whoever we have from other communities with those projects. So kind of similar to what you were going over, Derek, with all of your long-term partnerships and things like that. So we'd love to have you on at some point again.
You know what? It would be absolutely our pleasure. And the next time that we are on, we can definitely share and ask some of the Magus community to pop on over.
Awesome.
That'd be
Awesome.
awesome.
Glad to hear it.